It's great to be here this morning, and what a joy it was to see so many of you throughout the week as Patty and I went around and handed out some lilies, and some people walked into church this week and just said hi. Always grateful for that. Always grateful for your emails that I get to receive to know that you're still out there. And so just as I know many of you have expressed, it's good to hear from me and people in the church and the staff. It's good to hear from you as well, so don't hesitate at letting me know that you're out there and that God is caring for you well. And continue to pray for the people in our church, and truly every day when I send out the emails, I hope that you will be encouraging those not only within our church but within your sphere of influence, to let them know that they're loved and cared for. Because one of the things we discovered this week is there's people who haven't been out of their house in a month, and they just love that encouragement and that blessing. This morning, kids, I ask you every week to draw some pictures for me. The pictures were down a little bit last week. I received some great ones, but love to have you draw this morning again. Have your parents take a picture of it if you want, and then have them send it to me. But it's great to know what's going on in your mind and heart as you even listen to these words this morning. There's a lot of images in this sermon this morning. And you're going to be hearing about a couple of different pools. And what do you think those look like? There's the pool of Bethesda and the pool of Siloam. There's a blind man in this. There's a crippled man in this. There's spit in this sermon. There's mud in this sermon. There's a bunch of cranky religious church people in this sermon. So draw something out of one of those things. And talk about that with your parents later as you talk about the sermon together. So we're in the book of John. This was going to be the last, next week was going to be the last of the John sermon series, but I'm going to go on with John until you're all back here in this place. So there's 21 chapters. I think we've done 7 of them already. I hope that we don't have to get all the way up to 21 before we're back, but we're going to keep going in John until we all get to be back here in this place together. But I thought today would be interesting to walk through 2 chapters briefly and 2 pools. 2 pools that we could still see in Israel today. A part of the pool of Bethesda has all been excavated, and it's very easy to see what that looked like. You could see a picture on the screen already of one of those pools there, and then there's also the pool of Siloam, of which they've uncovered a bit of it. It was much bigger at the time. And there's significance in these 2 stories about healing, about sickness. And of course, we're dealing with that right now in our world. And every day, people, if you're like me, you tend to look at your news feed and you see how many more people have died in the last day. How many more cases has there been of the coronavirus? I hope that drives you to prayer, because if I didn't have a prayer life, I don't know how I'd make it through this, because it can be discouraging, because front and center we're faced with this at all times. So I'm going to read a few verses from chapter 5 of John, and then we're going to walk through the pool of Bethesda, and then we're going to move on to the pool of Siloam, and we're going to tie those together. God's word says this: After this, a Jewish festival took place, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. By the sheep gate in Jerusalem, there is a pool called Bethesda in Aramaic, which has 5 colonnades. Within these lay a large number of the disabled, blind, lame, and paralyzed. One man was there who had been disabled for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and realized he had already been there a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the disabled man answered, "I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up, but while I'm coming, someone goes down ahead of me." "Get up," Jesus told him, "pick up your mat and walk." Instantly the man got well, picked up his mat, and started to walk. Now that day was the Sabbath, and so the Jews said to the man who had been healed, "This is the Sabbath. The law prohibits you from picking up your mat." He replied, The man who made me well told me, "Pick up your mat and walk." "Who is this man who told you, 'Pick up your mat and walk'?" they asked. But the man who was healed did not know who it was, because Jesus had slipped away into the crowd that was there. After this, Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, "See, you are well. Do not sin anymore, so that something worse doesn't happen to you." The man went and reported to the Jews that it was Jesus who had made him well. Therefore the Jews began persecuting Jesus because he was doing these things on the Sabbath. That's what we're going to read from chapter 5. Let me give you a little introduction to the pools of Bethesda that you saw a picture of a moment ago. Because at first reading, it's very easy to misunderstand the purpose of these pools. And if we misunderstand them at the beginning, it's hard to really frame the story correctly. The area called the Pools of Bethesda, it was a healing center. You can imagine it like a regional health center that we might have today. It was one of 400 of these healing centers throughout the Roman Empire. And it was dedicated to the Roman god of well-being and healing, and his name was Asclepius. Asclepius. This mythical god had two mythical daughters. Listen to their names: Hygeia and Panacea. Sound familiar? Now, snakes were a key characteristic of Asclepius's cult of health and healing. You've probably seen that medical symbol in hospitals with a pole and a snake around it as a medical symbol. This is where it comes from. So given that background, that pagan background, see, we get thrown by the fact that it's named the Pool of Bethesda, and we think that there's something big and spiritual going on here, when in fact, this is a cultic practice that's actually going on in these pools. So the question can be asked immediately, were the people that were sitting all around these pools, were they waiting for the God of Israel to somehow stir them up so that they could be healed? Well, no. This was actually a pagan place. It was dedicated to that of a Roman mythical god. So even though the Pool of Bethesda means house of mercy, this was a pagan place. Notice that Jesus never asked this man to actually get into these waters. And even though he was waiting for them somehow to be stirred up, Jesus didn't provide help for him to even get in there. Now, there were a couple different types of people that would be waiting by these pools. Some people would be waiting by these pools because they literally went from place to place trying to get healed. They were looking for some healing, and so, okay, today we're going to stop by these pools. The next day we're going to go by this person who's claiming to heal, or this thing that's claiming to heal. They were going from place to place to place to place, trying to find healing. That was one of those groups that were probably at the pools that day. And then there was another group of people that were at the pools, and that's probably described by the person in our story. One who had basically given up. And he was going to be there every day. Every day he was going to hope to get in those waters when they were stirred up, and he was hoping for healing in that place. Now, the water was most likely stirred when the pagan priests of the Asclepius cult would open the connecting pipes between higher and lower portions of the pool. It created, to use our own context, kind of a jacuzzi-like effect in there. Things would be stirred up. It was manipulated by human beings. It wasn't something supernatural happening. No angel or anything came down with their angelic finger and kind of stirred them up. This was all manipulated by people. And then Jesus comes upon this person. See, this seems like the oddest question in the world. This guy has been there for 38 years. Jesus knows that, of course. And then Jesus asks this question, do you want to get well? It seems like the oh duh question of the year. But Jesus was asking that question for a very specific reason. Why? Well, Jesus knew that this man was fundamentally in the wrong place to get healed. That this wasn't a place of healing like it was called out to be. This is why he would ask the question. See, it's not what will make you well, it's who will make you well. And this man wasn't seeking out the correct who in this process. Yet, there are people who still today stand before pagan things, pagan practices today to get healed. So what did Jesus do in this context? He looked at him and he said, get up, pick up your mat and walk. And the man did. This is a powerful story. See, we're in a great time of sickness right now in our world with the coronavirus pandemic going on. When we look at sickness in general, not just what's going on, but sickness in general seems to be a symbol of human chaos. I mean, people are always talking about this sickness, this ailment, this hurt, this and that. And we know as Christians that there will come a day that we will go to heaven and there will be no more aches and pains. I wonder what we're going to talk about, huh? There is going to be complete wholeness, complete healing when we're in heaven. But there's all this chaos with sickness that we have right now. You know, do you remember when God created the heavens and the earth? You know this, of course. What did he do? How did he do it? He spoke things into being. And so he separated night from day. He spoke it into being. He spoke animals into being. And there were animals that flew and animals that went. The bottom line is he just spoke them and they were so. So there was not chaos there, but there was order. And the same thing that Jesus now does to this man. He takes this chaos of sickness and he speaks and he says, get up, pick up your mat, and walk. He spoke it into being. Here is the chaos of sickness Jesus speaks. So we look at this grace that's within this story. And there's grace in both of the stories that we'll talk about this morning. See, Jesus has the power to heal the sick. I think we all know that. Jesus obviously had this power then. And that power still exists today. Did Jesus heal everybody around that pool today? Certainly we have no record of that, but Jesus chose to heal this particular person. Does he heal everybody today? Well, the answer to that, you all know, is emphatically no. At least in a physical sense, everybody doesn't get healed. We know that. Well, we also know that in addition to Jesus having the power to heal the sick, Jesus also has the power to work through the sicknesses that we do have. Jesus comes in and heals, in this case, with no magic formulas or spells. Not like on some of the things that you can maybe see on TV on any given night, of which people are clamoring for at this time, of which is tragic. You go on one site, of which I went on this week, and you can get a special anointing oil. And you can get this anointing oil and expect healing. Or you can go on another site and get a special prayer cloth. And if you purchase this prayer cloth, for a small donation, of course, there will be special powers in there that you can have healing. Or some will be so upfront and say, so $91 here. And we will pray for your healing so that you can experience the healing that Christ has for you. Or even one that went so far, even at the beginning of this coronavirus, to offer a remedy, a bottle of liquid that if you take this, you will be healed. It will take care of the coronavirus. Only $80. Quack, quack, quack. That's all it is. And people keep writing checks and sending for this stuff. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry to be so upfront, but it's ridiculous. And for people who are out there proclaiming that they have no room in their theology for sickness, hello? How about the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, where from Genesis 3 on there is sickness and suffering? And there has been suffering ever since the fall of humanity. I mean, look at a person, just a couple of examples like Naomi. Naomi and Ruth and the story of Naomi and the story of losing a husband, losing 2 sons, sickness. Even Paul, who had a thorn in his flesh, Paul who had vision issues. There's all sorts of things in Scripture, and the Lord continues to work through those things. He works through those things so that His plan could come out of those things. Sickness is amongst us, and God is here to help us deal with that. We're experiencing a great pandemic right now, and there are plenty of Christians that like to think that God has nothing to do with this. I've seen these posts even on Facebook. And when I see them, I say, really? God has nothing to do with this? They say God is love and He wouldn't allow this. Really? Can anything, dear people, get to you without God allowing it? To suggest that there are things that are going on like this, and God has taken a little time off, and it slipped by Him, and it got in here to earth, suggests that we have a God who is not sovereign. I want you to think about that. Because, see, when those words get out there that God has nothing to do with this, that they just sort of, boom, they happened, God missed it, oops. There are no oopses amongst a sovereign God. See, it doesn't matter what we think of the coronavirus. It matters what God thinks of the coronavirus. The Bible is filled with crises. You've seen them. You've read about them. You've studied them. He puts things continually in perspective through these crises. One of the most basic is this: He is God, and we are not. Ours is not to ask why, but God, what can I learn through this? We can spend all day long, why God? Why the coronavirus? Why? Why me? Why have I been affected? When God calls us to ask, what can we learn? What can we learn? Lord, teach me, speak to me, show me, what would you have us do? I hope the church can be more radiant in this time. I hope we learn how to encourage people more during this time and to bless people in this time, to notice who our neighbors are. There's a host of things that I've been learning. These are my learnings. What are your learnings? One thing I can tell you for sure, that God is not teaching fear right now. And so many people are gripped with fear. They don't know when they're going to be able to come out. And what I'm concerned is when the governor or the president, gives their edict that we could come back, that some people are going to come into the church or into the store and they're going to be all shaking because of fear. God's not teaching you that. That's not from the Lord. We need to remember that Christ has overcome fear. We have to remember the scripture that God has not given us a spirit of fear. He hasn't given us that. And so we need to walk in these scriptures. We need to get our spiritual legs throughout this. And nothing will separate us from the love of God. And I trust that you're learning that you're walking in His promises. And when I talk about grace stacked on grace, we see promise upon promise upon promise upon promise. And this is this grace that God has told us through His Word that we have to walk in. God has never taught us in the Bible that we are here to be safe. But what God has taught us in the Bible is that there's going to be tough times. There's going to be calamities. There's going to be things that are going to build great character and build great perseverance in our lives. There are going to be times that we are going to be persecuted. God never promises us to be safe, but we're always praying for safety. Lord, make me safe. He's never promised that. He said nothing's going to separate you from my love. But there are difficult times. This is one of those difficult times that we're walking through. You know, God's sovereignty, He could stop this coronavirus. But thus far, He hasn't. However, God's sovereignty can and will sustain us through it. This is something that we can count on. God is working out His will even now. After all, the Bible says He even sees the sparrow fall. Don't you think He sees you and hears you? You know, when it comes to nature, there's hurricanes, there's earthquakes, there's talk of global warming, whatever. None of those things are sovereign, but God is. Diseases, cancer, all sorts of maladies that are out there, and the coronavirus right now, they're not sovereign, but God is. Satan would have you think that he is in charge of everything. He is not sovereign, but God is. So in the midst of this and other diseases, God is at work. Pray to see it and pray to be a part of His extending grace throughout it. God works through our suffering. Those people that are claiming that sufferings are somehow in vain miss out on the blessing of God. In the midst of the book of Lamentations, which, by the way, is a huge lament, we see these beautiful verses of which you're familiar with. Then I call to mind, this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I will hope in Him. And you know, as the story concludes at this section of John chapter 5, we have the religious leaders, and what are they all in a tiffle about? Well, they love their tradition more than they love people. Because this happened on the Sabbath. So they were more upset that this happened on the Sabbath than the man that was crippled for 38 years actually got healed. This was a tremendous adventure in missing the point. Were the religious leaders, were they more upset with Jesus that He was doing these things on the Sabbath? Or were they just upset because He was doing these things? I believe they were just upset with what Jesus was doing. He was doing these things that took the attention off of them and their authority and their influence and brought Him the glory that He alone deserved. We have to remember this, that when our traditions don't match the mission of Christ, they're worthless. They're worthless. Our traditions must match, must be in sync, must be going the same way as Christ's mission, or they're worthless. Let's move on to the pool of Siloam. There's a picture. It's a portion of it. Now, I'm going to read a long passage right now, but we're going to sit in this story a little bit because this story is going to give a lot of the message, and I'll stop a few times. This story has some moments in it where, honestly, folks, sometimes we feel we're not allowed to do this, laugh while we're reading the scripture, but I think that there's some very entertaining spots in this story, and I think John brings them out. Let's begin at verse 1. As he was passing by, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" "Neither this man nor his parents sinned," Jesus answered. "This came about so that God's works might be displayed in him. We must do the works of him who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world," what does he say? "I am the light of the world." After he said these things, he spit on the ground, made some mud from the saliva, and spread the mud on his eyes. I just want to stop there for a second, folks, and I'm not seeking to be gross at all, but I think you could all get a good picture of this. It takes a little bit of spit to make mud, huh? And so Jesus had to be shocking a lot of people as he was sitting there making more and more spit so that he could have enough of it to do what he was about to do. So after he said these things, he spit on the ground, made some mud from the saliva, and spread the mud on his eyes. "Go," he told them, "wash in the pool of Siloam," which means sent. So he left, washed, and came back seeing. His neighbors and those who had seen him before as a beggar said, "Isn't this the one who used to sit begging?" Some said, "He's the one." Others were saying, "No, but he looks like him." He kept saying, "I'm the one." So they asked him, "Then how were your eyes opened?" He answered, "The man called Jesus made mud, spread it in my eyes, told me to go to Siloam and wash. So when I went and washed, I received my sight." "Where is he?" they asked. "I don't know," he said. Well, then they brought the man who used to be blind to the Pharisees. The day that Jesus made the mud and opened his eyes was a Sabbath. Then the Pharisees asked him again how he received his sight. "He put mud in my eyes," he told them, "and I washed, and I can see." Some of the Pharisees said, This man is not from God because he doesn't keep the Sabbath." But others were saying, "How can a sinful man perform such signs?" And there was division among them. Again they asked the blind man, "What do you say about him since he opened your eyes?" "He's a prophet," he said. The Jews did not believe this about him, that he was blind and received sight, until they summoned the parents of the one who had received the sight. They asked them, "Is this your son, the one who you say was born blind? How does he now see?" Then they say this profound thing, "We know this is our son, and that he was born blind." His parents answered, "But we don't know how he now sees, and we don't know who opened his eyes. Ask him. He's of age. He will speak for himself." His parents said these things because they were afraid of the Jews, since the Jews had already agreed that if anyone confessed him as the Messiah, they would be banned from the synagogue. This is why his parents said, "He's of age, ask him." So a second time they summoned the man who had been blind and told him, "Give glory to God. We know that this man is a sinner." He answered, "Whether or not he's a sinner, I don't know. But one thing I do know, I was blind and now I can see." When they asked him, "What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes?" Asking him again, "I already told you," he said, "and you didn't listen. Why do you want to hear it again? You don't want to become his disciples too, do you?" They ridiculed him. "You're that man's disciple, but we're Moses' disciples. We know that God has spoken to Moses, but this man, we don't know where he's from." "This is an amazing thing," the man told him. "You don't know where he is from, and yet he opened my eyes. We know that God doesn't listen to sinners, but if anyone is God-fearing and does his will, he listens to him." Throughout history, no one has ever heard of someone opening the eyes of a person born blind. If this man were not from God, he wouldn't be able to do anything. "You were born entirely in sin," they replied, "and are you trying to teach us?" Then they threw him out. Jesus heard that they had thrown this man out, and when he found him, he asked, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" "Who is he, sir, that I might believe in him?" he asked. Jesus answered, "You have seen him. In fact, he is the one speaking with you." "I believe, Lord," he said, and he worshiped him. Jesus said, "I came into this world for judgment, in order that those who do not see will see, and those who do see will become blind." Some of the Pharisees who were with him heard those things and asked him, "We aren't blind, too, are we?" "If you were blind," Jesus told them, "you wouldn't have sin. But now that you say, 'We see,' your sin remains." Ouch. What a story. Here's this man who's been blind since birth. Perhaps the greatest thing in his whole life is it happens. He's healed, and he gets raked over the coals. Who did this to you? How did they do it? Who were they again? Tell us that story again. You're kidding. That can't be true. Get out of here. It's amazing what happened to him. But all during this, the Lord is working his plan out. And there's great grace seen here, but there's also some disturbing things that are seen here. See, the big question started out at first. The disciples, they were a little bit puzzled too, and they said right away to Jesus, they said, "Rabbi," which means teacher. They said, "Hey, who's kind of responsible for the sin, this person who's born blind? Because there has to be some cause for this. Was it something he did, or was it something his parents did?" Jesus answered it quite profoundly. He says, "Neither. Neither." Stop trying to blame your sin on somebody else, okay? But somehow, through this blindness, a greater could happen to the glory of God. Now, we're not at a pagan pool like Bethesda, but we are at a pool associated with the Jewish temple. That's the Pool of Siloam. But there is no precedent for the miracle that's about to take place. One of the things that makes it such a bold miracle, Jesus giving spit to the blind, is a prophetic sign. When he puts this mud on and it comes off and there's vision. He could see again. This is a prophetic sign that one day the blinders would be taken off of those who can't see now. People like you and me, and even the people of God called Israel. So we look at the spit and mud. We're stunned to see that Jesus did this. And where does he send the man? He sends him to the Pool of Siloam. What does the Pool of Siloam mean? It means sent. Who is Jesus? He's one who's sent by God. So the one who sends this man to a place called Sent. Interesting. Now, what would it look to walk around with mud in your eyes? I mean, think about it. He got this mud in his eyes. So as he's walking to the Pool of Siloam, because he's already blind, he may, but probably needed somebody to help him to get there. And so he's walking around. People might be saying, do you realize you got mud in your eyes? You got this stuff all over your face? And the guy's thinking, I'm well aware of this. As a matter of fact, this was made with spit. But this man told me to go and do this, and so I'm going to do this. I'm going to go from where I started here, where this man was, and I'm going to go to this pool, and I am going to wash my eyes. And of course, he did that, and he was healed. But what he was doing along the way, folks, there's no other word for this than simply obedience. He was obeying what the Lord said. And then there was the overcoming of blindness. What was it that healed the man? Was it the spit? Was it the mud? No. Was it the man's obedience that healed him? No. Was it the man's faith that healed him? No. It was Jesus who healed him. Jesus healed him. See, here's the point. And Jesus makes this so very clear. Jesus gives sight to the blind. And so what he was going to do is he was going to take this physical healing and he was going to give an unbelievably large spiritual truth. If you recognize your blindness, you can receive sight. Folks who are listening, if you recognize your blindness, in other words, you recognize that you need vision, you need sight, you need spiritual eyes that can only come from the light of the world. If you recognize that you're blind, you'll receive sight. And then also, Jesus lets some know that they are blind. If you think you can see on your own, if you think you've got it all together, if you think that that which you see out there and your perspective of life and the world is all you need, then Jesus says, you can't. You're actually blind. And so these stories today, folks, they're all about grace. They're about receiving grace. And I can't help but see this image of two pools, because two pools are filled with water. And granted, one went in the water and one didn't in the other. But they're filled with water. In Bethesda, Jesus gives grace to someone seeking healing in the wrong place. And he showed him that I'm the one who heals. And then in Siloam, Jesus will take your blindness away and give you sight to see, not just sight to see with your two eyes, but a new vision. It's called salvation. A new perspective on life that's filled with hope, that's filled with joy, that's filled with peace. And in the midst of that, in the midst of receiving that beautiful gift of sight and salvation, the religious leaders may get angry at you and throw you out. Others may ridicule you or ask stupid questions of you, but at the end of the day, you can see with these eyes and the eyes that have been enlightened through the light of the world. And so the invitation for us this morning is to receive that grace, that amazing grace. And when we receive that grace, folks, it's as though we get thrown into a pool of grace. And we get to swim in that grace. And we need to take a dive in. Get that grace all over us. Roll in it every day. One of the greatest ways to roll in grace is to read the Scriptures every day. Practice through the power of the Holy Spirit what the Bible says. And what happens is we've got this grace all over us. And as we splash in the grace, it's just like splashing in a pool. It starts to get on others. And so we have the opportunity right now to splash in the abundant grace of God, to bless others with that grace and to extend it to others. But we have to receive it first. That invitation is there for you to receive the wonderful grace of Jesus, which is greater than all of our sin. Receive it, swim in it, splash around in it, and extend that grace. Let's pray. Father, thanks for these two amazing stories that actually happened. Thank you for sending Jesus. Thank you that through the sicknesses, through the ailments, that glory was brought to the Father through these miracles. Lord, may we not be confused about healing. May we not be confused about your sovereignty. May we certainly not be confused about your amazing grace. So, Lord, I pray that everyone who's in the sound of my voice might not just know of that grace, but may receive that grace. And for those who right now have been in a time of difficulty, a time when they really want to rediscover that grace, they've just been down a bit. I pray, Lord, that they would take a new dive into that pool and that they would open up the Word of God and find themselves swimming around in the grace of God. And in the midst of what we see as suffering around us and difficulty around us, that it's at exactly that time that we extend this grace to others every day and throughout the week. We love you. We thank you. We are so blessed by you, and there's plenty to share with others. And it's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.